So today we are going to talk about how to defend web, API, and AI services from internet-based attacks. My name is Albert. I'm a product manager at Google. And today I will be joined by Chris, our tech lead manager. And we are lucky to have with us today as well Mitchell, manager of cloud security operations at PayPal. And all the way from Israel, Eyal, manager of product management at Imperva. So this is the agenda and what we are going to cover today. First, we are going to talk about the global front-end solution that our customers use. Then we will switch to Google Cloud Armor, provide a few key and very exciting announcements that we have for you, followed by a quick demo. Then Eyal is going to cover our partnership between Imperva and Google and how we are planning to deliver industry-leading managed rules from Imperva directly and natively into Cloud Armor. Then Chris is going to talk about how to protect the entire organization with recently launched capabilities, such as organization address groups, hierarchical security policies, and how to layer that with model armor and fraud defense, previously known as reCAPTCHA. And then finally, Mitchell is going to cover from a customer lens perspective, how is their experience with Cloud Armor at PayPal and how they are leveraging it. So with that, let's get started. So in the new AI and agentic AI era, the threat landscape is rapidly evolving. And with AI and agentic AI, the traffic patterns are different than traditional web and API. So we have been evolving our services over time, and we have been doing the same thing for our global front-end solution. Our global front-end solution is composed of multiple products, starting for our global application load balancer to provide this global performance at the edge of our network. Then we have Google Cloud Armor for DDoS and web attack defense and be able to stop these web attacks. Fraud defense in charge of bot and fraud protection. Cloud CDN for this high-performance edge caching and offload your backend infrastructure. And finally, service extensions to get this edge programmability and extensibility. The global front end lives at the edge of our network, whereas the backends can be in Google Cloud, in other clouds, and even on-prem. And we offer a variety of connectivity options between the global front end and your backends. All right, so let's talk about Cloud Armor. Cloud Armor is our DDoS mitigation service and WAF, or Web Application Firewall, and it works hand in hand with our load balancing infrastructure. So as soon as you deploy a global application load balancer, you're automatically protected against layer 3 and layer 4 volumetric and protocol DDoS attacks. And on top of that, you can configure layer 7 filtering policies and WAF by configuring Cloud Armor security policies. Cloud Armor supports a variety of load balancers, external, internal, regional, and global. And I would separate them into main buckets. So on one side, we have our proxy load balancers, which include our HTTPS proxy, SSL proxy, and TCP proxy. And on the other hand, we have our pass-through endpoints, which includes our network load balancer, protocol forwarding, and VMs with public IP. So today, we are really excited to provide you with a few key announcements. We are planning to launch a public preview within 90 days. And the first major announcement is managed rules. I think that with managed rules, we're going to bring Cloud Armor to the next level, and it's going to be a game changer. We are partnering with an industry leader, Imperva, to bring their managed rules natively into Cloud Armor. Another major announcement is our network security agent, which you probably heard already. So we are streamlining network security operations for our customers via agentic AI, and it's going to streamline this operation across our network security portfolio, including Cloud Armor, NGFW, Sweep, etc. And we are expanding our adaptive protection service, which is our machine learning DDoS mitigation service, to our network load balancers and VMs. In addition to what I just mentioned, we launched WAF for 22. So we upgraded pre-configured WAF signatures to ModSec CRS for 22. So our customers are getting the latest and greatest. We also launched in preview Match Condition Builder, which significantly improves and enhances the user experience when crafting these Cloud Armor security policies. We released in GA large request body parsing and inspection. So going from 8 KBs to 64 KBs, which represents an 8x increase in inspection and parsing capabilities. We are also announcing today request body inspection for custom rules, so customers can perform layer 7 filtering directly on request body content. And finally, 2 capabilities with our integration with fraud defense. The first one is an AI-resistant challenge, which is a new challenge type designed to be more resistant against automated AI solvers, which requires both a mobile device and an out-of-band verification. And the second one is bot type integration to provide granular enforcement policies based on verified bot categories. So as I was mentioning, we are really excited to introduce our network security domain agent. which via agentic AI is going to streamline these network security operations for our customers. And it's going to help our customers with things like policy generation, policy recommendation, impact analysis, etc. As I mentioned, it's going to work across our network security portfolio. It is not limited to Cloud Armor, so that means it's going to be available for Cloud Armor, NGFW, Sweep, etc. And we have divided the agent's capabilities in 3 main pillars. The first one is posture and log analysis. So here, the agent can identify unprotected backends, traffic anomalies, and get best practice recommendations. So for example, if your development team is creating applications, and for some reason these applications are not protected, the agent can uncover these unprotected backends or VPCs and suggest a best practice recommended security policy for this specific application with all the rules in preview mode, of course, before you promote them to enforce mode. Additionally, the agent can identify traffic anomalies, perform log analysis and traffic pattern analysis, and suggest you with improvements to your existing security policies so you can enhance your security posture. The second pillar here is intent-based policy. So you can express intent in natural language, and then the agent is going to automatically translate this intent into actionable configurations and the required configurations across our network security portfolio. And the third pillar here is confident deployment. So when you have these security policies or rules in preview mode, the agent can help you transition to enforce mode or blocking mode by performing a thorough impact analysis to make sure that there are no false positives, that we are not blocking legitimate traffic, and that we are indeed only blocking malicious exploit attempts. And to show you the agent in action, I would like to show you now a quick demo.
AI models are weaponizing vulnerabilities at a velocity that renders human-led responses obsolete. Meet the Network Security Domain Agent, your AI-powered defense. I proactively manage your security posture, identifying vulnerabilities to automate CVE mitigation. I orchestrate Cloud Armor deployments, using preview mode to ensure zero downtime protection. My adaptive protection capabilities instantly summarizes real-time threat alerts, while my traffic and log analysis engine hunts for hidden anomalies and malicious IPs. By translating threat research into instant configuration, I close the gap from discovery to defense. We are using Slack to demonstrate our agent's capabilities. The agent will be available via Gemini Cloud Assist at public preview. Also note that agent responses have been accelerated for this demo. We will begin by asking the agent about React 2 shell vulnerability and if our environment is impacted. We have confirmation that there are vulnerable instances based on exposure finding from Security Command Center. The agent lists available options to address the vulnerability, including mitigation via Cloud Armor. Let us go ahead and ask the agent to deploy the mitigation rule in preview mode to ensure there is no impact to our backend service. We get a confirmation that the rule has been deployed in preview mode. The agent can also conduct a thorough impact analysis of the preview rule to determine if there are any observed false positive issues or adverse traffic impact. The agent confirms that all flagged requests are indeed malicious exploitation attempts and that there is no indication of false positives or impact to legitimate users. Using this analysis, we can confidently deploy the mitigation in enforce mode and start denying malicious exploitation attempts in real time. This demo shows how the Network Security Domain Agent is truly democratizing network security expertise and empowering customers to move from threat detection to safe remediation at machine speed.
All right, pretty cool, right? All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this demo. So we are also really excited about this new announcement, Managed Rules. We are partnering with an industry leader in Imperva to bring their managed rules natively into Cloud Armor. With that, I think that we are going to bring Cloud Armor, as I said, to the next level, and it's going to be a game changer for us and our customers. With this, we will provide to our customers this massive threat intelligence, right? So getting visibility to our 1.5 trillion monthly web requests. We will be providing zero-day CVE defense with a dedicated break glass process and automated patching, so for these critical vulnerabilities, so our customers are protected as soon as possible. We'll be providing comprehensive threat protection with thousands of rules across 15 different categories, which our customers can choose from. And it is the first time that we will be providing flexible deployment options for all our customers. So if you're a customer who wants a hands-off deployment with automatic updates, you can leverage our automatic update rule sets with Canary and Stable. No need to do anything. You will get updates automatically from us. But if you need or you have strict change control policies and you cannot leverage automatic updates, we will provide custom static versions so you update when you need it. And on top of all this, we'll continue providing all the advanced capabilities that our customers are used to. That means opting in and opting out of rule IDs, be able to perform field exclusions, and also leverage preview mode before you promote your rules from preview to enforce. And of course, the agent is going to support managed rules as well. And to talk more about our partnership between Google and Imperva and how we are planning to deliver managed rules natively into Cloud Armor, I would like to welcome Eyal on stage. Thank you. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Albert. Can you hear me? Yes, good. So first of all, good morning, and thank you for joining us after yesterday night. And I know it was a long week. I hope you didn't spend too much money in the casino. And if you do, I hope you made money. So I'm Eyal Cohen. I'm part of the product management team at Imperva. And you know, Imperva is a market leader. Not only it's market leader in the WAF segment and in the security segment for the last 10 times we are market leader, we also exist for 20 years. And these 20 years, it's a lot of experience and expertise related to vulnerability patching and to threat research and threat intelligence. And this is exactly the reason why Google chose us for this partnership. And we are really excited and happy to have this partnership and be part of it. And I think that the entire value here of this partnership is that it comes down to one simple thing. We need to stop the attackers before they reach you, before they find the exploit, before they find the breach, and not after. And to do this consistently, you really need the scale, you really need the speed, and you need the expertise, not only of humans, also leveraging AI for doing it. And we'll shortly explain how we do it, and this is really nice and interesting. So we can see, and these numbers that you see in these slides are really scary. And I think they were scary before AI and before Mythos and models like Mythos and others that can now both find the vulnerabilities faster and find the exploit faster. And I think this is what we are dealing with, and we are going to deal with this with a faster time to vulnerability finding and faster time to exploit. But not only that, the time it takes for people to patch it is not becoming faster, because not all the POCs out there are real POCs. Not all the exploits that are being presented are real exploits, and you need to cut through the noise and really find the right exploit and the right way to mitigate it. It's not just to mitigate whatever comes out. You need to really do it, and you need to do it at scale. And you know, Imperva has this scale and this capability and this expertise. We are seeing more than 120 billion requests every single day in our network, and we are not only that. We are tracking all the POCs out there. We are tracking the dark web. We are tracking the way the things are evolving through the vulnerability, because vulnerabilities are being, the exploit being evolving all the time, and we recently seen it in the recent exploit. And this is the engine that we bring to this partnership, and this is the value. Now, how does it work? How do we do what we do, and how do we do it good? When a CVE is discovered, many times I can say that it's been patched in a very fast, in a very short time frame. But what we do, we analyze it. We have engines that analyzing it. We are generating WAF rules on our WAF. We testing them and making sure that they will be accurate, and they will be with really minimal false positive. And it's not a synthetic data. It's a real data from our users that we are testing these rules against. And then, obviously, we publish them to production, and we do it really in a very, very, very short time, and without any operational burden from your side. You don't need to think about it, you just get it, and it's good, and it's effective, and it's immediately. Immediately, when I say immediately, it's within minutes to hours. That's the scale and the precision that we can give with the WAF rules. Now, we can take just a few examples that we had, recent examples. So we know that Log4Shell, the remote code execution that we had, we blocked the exploitation much before the final exploitation came. So this, the Log4Shell was evolving exploitation, and there was the first exploitation, and then second way to exploit it, and third, and a fourth, and we blocked all this second, third, fourth was already blocked out of the box. Same as reACPTCHA. reACPTCHA, we patched it within hours, and same with Oracle HTTP. The web logic that basically allow you to perform a remote code execution without any credential, without with just a standard HTTP request. So all of this was blocked really within minutes to hours, and that's just few examples of real life threats that was mitigated very quickly. Now, what really setting us apart in this managed rules is that, first of all, we have human researchers with a lot of experience that are testing everything. It's not only the AI. The AI is very good to start with, but it can make mistakes, and the human in the loop is really, really important. Like I said, we test it against real data, and therefore we have a very, very, very low false positive that we see once deploying the rules. And the average time is below 24 hours for any new CVE that is discovered. I would say, I cannot promise it on stage, but it's really, few hours. That's what we do. That's what we are good at. Now, if I want to summarize this, and this is, I would say this is, and we are really excited about this partnership, and we can see that together we bring the speed and velocity against all the OWASP top 10s, and we can have different coverage for different categories, and speed that I think you never had before. And I think that's all. We will be here for questions later. Enjoy, and heading to Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. That was great. Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Brawn. I'm a TLM on the Cloud Armor team. Very nice to see all of you. Thanks for coming today. I was sort of contemplating doing a Benson Boone backflip, but I feel like that's for 9 o'clock in the morning, a little early. Here today to talk about protecting the organization. Managing security policies across hundreds or thousands of projects presents a significant operational challenge for large organizations. To address this complexity, we've launched hierarchical security policies for Cloud Armor, which is now in GA. This enhancement allows you to define security policies at the organization, folder, or project level that are automatically inherited by your backend services. This capability provides the same centralized control for security policies on load balancers that is already available for cloud next-generation firewall, ensuring a consistent security posture across all of your network layers. Primary use case for this feature is rapid response for emerging threats. For example, during a zero-day event like last year's reACPTCHA, a central security team can deploy protection like, for example, our CVE Canary rule set at the organization level. This ensures immediate enterprise-wide protection. This architectural approach empowers CISOs and dedicated security groups to enforce top-down guardrails while still preserving the ability for project-level and project-driven admins to configure their own specific security settings. Additionally, this year we launched org address groups. This allows you to define reusable IP lists once at the organization level and either use them in a common organizational security policy or share them across individual projects and backends. Some examples of these include curated deny lists managed by your security teams or trusted partner CIDRs. Let's look at how we might use some of these new features to protect your organization.
Today, we'll take a look at some new Cloud Armor features and how they can be applied to protect your enterprise. We're beginning in the Cloud Console to create an organizational security policy that is automatically inherited by every folder and project. Using our new org-scoped address groups, we can update a single deny list and have it propagate immediately to the entire network. We'll also leverage Google Threat Intelligence to block malicious users from accessing our protected services. Projects in this organization are protected automatically, and exclusions can be controlled by org administrators. Organizational policies can be applied to folders and projects as well, covering services underneath them. We'll use the new Rule Builder to restrict traffic for a folder within the organization. Some common use cases might be to enforce content restrictions on production environments, like restricting to North America as shown here, consolidating different workloads, or by granting team or group IAM control. The Rule Builder makes WAF rules easy to configure and tune. Here, it's making enabling the new WAF 4.22 rule sets easy. Project owners and back-end services can still customize coverage to their needs, like enabling adaptive protection or configuring JSON body parsing for WAF. User IPs can be enabled on headers from trusted ingress infrastructure or upstream CDNs. And of course, larger request body sizes can be configured for services needing additional inspection. Most workloads will also benefit from service-specific rate limiting.
That's great. Google Cloud Fraud Defense helps to discern the legitimacy and authorization of bots, humans, and agents. Fraud Defense is the evolution of reCAPTCHA, which protects over 14 million domains from fraud and abuse. It is integrated directly into Cloud Armor, simplifying deployment and allowing for inline protection at the network edge. It uses a multi-layered approach. Our low-cost bot defense operates effectively across various surfaces and doesn't require any code changes in your applications. Account defense defends against account takeover and prevents credentials from being stolen. SMS defense detects and prevents SMS fraud for businesses that leverage two-factor authentication using SMS. Transaction defense detects and prevents fraudulent transactions such as carding attacks. As AI threats evolve, we're proud to announce the following capabilities designed to help your applications resist fraud in the agentic era. With policy engines, you gain granular control based on conditions that include risk scores, agent types, and agent identity. This allows you to step up challenges for high-risk sessions, block suspicious transactions, and restrict actions based on geolocation or other policy requirements. Moving on to an industry first, we're launching AI-resistant challenges. As we're experiencing, AI is pretty good at solving traditional reCAPTCHA challenges. So we've introduced a novel QR-based code challenge designed to be economically unviable to solve at scale. These can be used to protect high-risk actions, such as password resets and, fund transfers. Agentic activity measurement uses standards like WBA and SPIFFE to improve the classifications of automated traffic from AI agents. You can use this AI for governance, agentic threat detection, and understanding the impact of agentic traffic on your applications. And finally, fraud defense has now transitioned from being a data controller to a data processor, giving your customers more direct control and sovereignty over their data and easing the data governance burden placed on your business by global compliance regimes like GDPR. Moving past fraud defense, let's talk briefly about content protection in the AI area. Model Armor provides comprehensive protection across all agent interaction paths, so organizations can confidently build and deploy agents everywhere. Model Armor uses Google AV and safe browsing to block malicious files and unsafe URLs. It blocks both direct and indirect prompt injection. It leverages a sensitive data protection service to redact or block PII data, and it uses its content safety model to block dangerous and harmful content. Up next, I'm proud to introduce one of our great customers, Meyer, Manager of Cloud Security Operations at PayPal.
Hello, everybody. My name is Meyer. I am the Manager of Cloud Security Operations at PayPal, and I am excited to share our story today. So first off, thank you to Google for allowing me to come up here and give our journey. I wanted to open this up with a quote. And although this may actually seem like it's something that we wrote up ourselves, this is a real quote from a real engineer pulled from a Slack thread on a random Thursday. But to understand why this quote is so important, I have to take you back through our journey. And this isn't going to be the clean story, the one where we had success after success after success. This is actually going to be the real one, the time where we had to have incidents, outages, and customer support from Google. And in order to begin this, I'm going to take you back to the start of my experience with Cloud Armor. And that begins in November of 2021. About a month after I had joined PayPal, the world was rocked by Log4j. If you were in security at the time, you understand what this was like. It was asbestos. It was everywhere, and you had to rip out the walls. You had to patch every system. You had to go through, scan every image, and essentially make sure you were protected at all layers. And as an engineer who was assigned to figuring out this problem and how we solved this during that time period, I happened to come across a post from Google, and this blog was actually introducing the new CVE Canary rule. It was one simple line of config that allowed us to immediately push out and know that our edge was protected. This changed the entire situation for us, and it went from panic to being able to deal with things on the fly and actually help our internal teams patch and redirect the resources that we were dedicated internally to helping all of the other business units that we were having to leverage. And that was a massive improvement for us. It was my first introduction to Cloud Armor, and it was the first time that I realized just how powerful this tool could be. And now, we were still fairly new to PayPal. We were a business unit being onboarded. And as we were coming on, we had to start realizing that we were going to be dealing with new types of attack vectors. We had DDoS protections, but we were still dealing with outages. They weren't always perfect. And that's when we pursued Adaptive Protection Auto Deploy. And this was an absolute lifesaver for us. When I say that we flipped this thing on and we went from multiple outages to 0 for 4+ years, that is not a joke. It is just speaking to the power of the product itself and how truly useful it can be. And here's what a day looks like now for us. A user gets alerted immediately, or the on-call engineer, and they go through the Google metric system, throwing it in Slack, PagerDuty, whatever else. And the user then logs into the console. They see a major spike in traffic, maybe a minute, and then they immediately see the downturn, a resumption to baseline. It's incredible. They can just take all of the data that Google then provides to you, whether it be coming from multiple countries, the JAWS3 and JAWS4 signatures, anything that you need, and it immediately is available for you to see in the console, and you can just do a quick write-up of the incident and move on with your day. What used to be something that might have taken us an hour or more to deal with and respond to, now takes us minutes. That is something that you cannot overemphasize. It allows us to stop throwing bodies at the problems. You had to have less people involved in each of the ongoing incidents, and we could use those bodies more effectively. And that's exactly what we did. As soon as we turned on Adaptive Protection Auto Deploy, it allowed us to start investigating the rest of the features. We got to see pre-configured WAF rules and some of the threat intelligence. With pre-configured WAF rules, we were able to start investigating OWASP Top 10, all of the remote code execution, local file inclusion, the works. It was amazing for us. And we were able to identify these and test them all in preview mode at once. So then we could just go through and make sure that we were able to turn everything on and that it wouldn't be impeding the developers or blocking production traffic. That was critical for us. And when we were going through, you can't always turn everything on. Engineers do some weird things with data, and they transfer it in weird ways. But we were at least able to go through and make sure that everything we could have covered was. And the next thing we realized is that Google gave us access to their GCP threat intelligence. Google sees more data than you can ever imagine a day pass through their data centers and services, and they decided to give this information to us in the form of threat intelligence rules. This is malicious IPs, bot traffic, anything of that sort, or my personal favorite, Tor exit nodes, because let's be real, who is going to be using Tor for our services for doing anything valid other than experiencing latency? And as soon as we started turning these on, and adaptive protection auto deploy included in this, we went from this very reactive approach to something where we could focus on our internal issues and having to actually deal with everything that was the root of our problem and all of the other security measures we wanted to implement. And it saved us an enormous amount of time. And then, as we grew, we started to experience new issues. And Google helped us solve those along the way. When you are going through and you're trying to deal with spinning up and getting onboarded into PayPal, PayPal has tens of thousands of malicious IPs that we're identifying all the time, attack signatures, indicators of compromise. We needed ways to apply all of these into a new business unit and make sure that each of our limits was going in there. We had to start playing Tetris with rules. You had 10 IPs per rule, and we had to start making sure that we were stuffing them properly. We were writing scripts to make sure that every single IP address could be put in. When a new one was added, we had to remove it. And if you've ever had to deal with any kind of issue on the fly, and you are being told that you need to update something at midnight, it's not always the most fun to have to figure out how you're going to exactly do that. Google heard this problem from us, and they went and they built network address groups. This was an amazing contribution for us and something that completely helped change it. What used to be 600 different rules for 6,000 IPs or more spread across multiple policies was shrunk down to 3 rules because we were able to effectively add network address groups that protected us at each layer, and we can define those. It made it substantially easier for us to configure CI/CD pipelines, so an effective change that can be made in PayPal can then be made into the business units through a quick change to a CI/CD pipeline and a few configurations, and we're able to update on the fly. It allows us to respond to attacks quicker than ever before, and it makes management 10 times easier for us. And this isn't where Google stopped either. They continue the same kind of support for us. When you grow, you start to see new projects spun up. You have policy sprawl. What is required for each of your sandbox environments, QA, dev, staging, and production, is going to be different for each of your environments, and you're going to see different types of traffic. As my friend Thomas can tell you in the audience, we are actually somebody who, when we would deploy a rule, Terraform modules could only take us so far, and if the policy wasn't spun up properly, sometimes we would see errors. As a developer, this doesn't make it the easiest to use. Well, hierarchical security policies fixed this for us. It actually allowed us to make sure that we had comprehensive coverage at the organizational level, and that every project that was onboarded immediately was spun up with the proper configurations that we needed spread across those. Everything else could become a little bit more tailored, but if somebody wanted to spin up a new GCP project, we didn't need to make sure that security was involved to have every single control put in place and that the rule was automatically deployed. That was a major benefit to us, and so anything that came from our government regulations to block potentially malicious countries that we're not allowed to do business with, that network address groups that I just discussed, those can all be deployed at the project or at the organizational level, and it allows us to make sure that we have everything covered in an instant. And that's why I'm so excited to get to pursue managed WAF rules with them and be the pilot program. Because we have absolutely loved their pre-configured WAF rules. We have loved their auto-deploy. Everything has worked seamlessly and allowed us to immediately transition to a less reactive approach and to a more defined approach of being tailored security rules. And as we move into an agentic world where we're going to see more dynamic attacks than ever before, we're going to need to be able to respond to those even quicker. Google has had our back this whole time, and you know that they're going to have our back again with these managed WAF rules, and that we are not going to have to deal with the burden of all of the bot traffic that's being spun up more frequently now than we had to before. And I can't wait to experience this, know what it's going to do for our organization. And overall, if you have not used Google Cloud Armor and you are looking to scale, if you are looking for an edge protection, we are a customer success story. We have taken problems and we have gone to an environment that largely takes care of itself, and we couldn't have done this without Google's help. So I'm going to pass it back over to Albert. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
All right, thank you, Mitchell. That was great. Cannot wait for you to test managed rules, network security agent, etc. So thank you. All right, so to wrap it up, so today we talked about our global front-end solution, right? The different components that are part of our global front-end. We talked about Google Cloud Armor, how to protect the entire organization with hierarchical security policies, organization address groups, how to provide this multi-layer security approach with fraud defense, model armor. We went about all our announcements, right? And I would like to leave you with the following quote, which is, attacks are faster, larger, and more autonomous than ever. Network security must evolve to match. And we are giving you with the tools and the intelligence to fight back. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here early on a Friday. We hope that you enjoy our session. We'll be here if you have any questions.